guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are well. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. So in today's video, we're going to do a retouch of the photo shoot that I took of my friend a few days ago. I'm showing you guys an in-depth tutorial of typically how I go about editing my photos. So right now I'm kind of playing around with the exposure just to kind of show you guys like what that is, or like what that means. So the higher the exposure, the more light that you're letting into the photo, and the lower is kind of less light. So because this photo was already a bit overly exposed, I opted to go for less exposure. So you guys are gonna see that throughout this video of me kind of like playing around with the buttons, going like up and down. It's just so I can show you guys like what the difference would look like in pictures. So typically that's mainly how this video is gonna go. So for the highlight, it's going to brighten up areas in the photos that has like the light already reflecting off of it. So if you guys notice the shirt, if I put more of the highlight up, the shirt kind of got brighter, or like you couldn't see the words as much, versus if I put it down, which I ended up doing, you can kind of see the words a lot better, and the shirt isn't, again, this actually kind of ties in with the exposure where the shirt isn't overly exposed. And similar with the shadows, I play around with the shadows because that helps with the background. If you guys notice, the background has a lot of darker areas, so it might look so that's a bit of darker areas. So with that, I didn't really play too much with the shadows, but I did bump it up a little bit. And then with the whites and the blacks, I am just playing around with, again, what I see fit in this picture, or whatever I choose to opt out with. And because, again, the whites that were already in the picture were already very bright, I opted to go down with the white and to go up with the black. And then with this, the temperature, I'm just kind of just showing you guys like what the difference would look like if I decided to go with either. I didn't really do much with the temperature. I only went up 5, so it's not really much of a difference. Same thing with the tint. I kind of wanted to just play around with it and kind of show you guys like what it would look like in a picture. And again, I didn't really do much with it, kind of went down 5. And then vibrance and saturation, pretty much similar, they're pretty much similar to each other. So again, I'm showing you guys kind of like what that difference would look like. You up the brightness, you up the vibrance, it kind of looks like those. You ever had those overly exposed Instagram filters that, you know, we kind of used back in the day with certain pictures? That's kind of like the theme with like when you put too much vibrance and too much saturation on something. Looks like the old Instagram filters. So yeah, I'm playing around with that so you guys can kind of see like what it is that I'm actually doing. And again, I didn't really do too much with either. And I'm zooming in on the face because that's another thing you want to make sure that when you're doing like vibrance and saturation, that the face or like the skin tone doesn't turn orange. So that was my main focus with that. So now we're moving on to effects. So this is where texture and clarity kind of comes in, right? Depending on how you want your pictures, you can either bump up the texture. If you don't want the texture, you can always decrease it. So what I mean by texture is, if you kind of zoom in on your subject's face or kind of like little details, it'll add a lot more texture to like the skin, the clothing, so different things like that. So as you guys can see, I kind of played around with the texture to kind of show you guys the difference. I didn't bump it up too much, probably just a tad. Same thing with the clarity, didn't do too much with that either. I kind of went back in color to kind of decrease some things. I didn't like how certain things were looking so far. So yeah, I'm kind of showing you guys like just playing around with the buttons is what I'm showing you guys, and kind of showing you kind of the difference of what each kind of makes the pictures, or if there are also buttons where I feel like it doesn't add to the picture or it doesn't do much to the picture, so I'll either avoid it or I just won't increase it by anything. I don't think I did that in this video, but there were some that I just didn't use because I didn't feel like it did much. And again, playing around with the sharpening so you guys can kind of see like what it does. I feel like it made the photo a little less blurry, if that made sense, versus what it was before. And that's kind of what sharpening is. So again, I played around with that for a little bit. I added a bit more to that, and then now I'm just going back into what I kind of went through earlier, going back, seeing if I might have, increased something a little bit too much, or I decreased it a little bit too much. I don't know. It was something about the picture so far that I just wasn't taking to. Like, I just didn't. I just wanted to play around with certain things, just to kind of make sure that I was happy, right? I was happy with what I edited. And from the most part, from what it started out to kind of what the end results are, I would say that I did a great job, if I do say so myself. Again, the first picture wasn't necessarily ideal, but going through the editing process is probably my favorite part, to turn the pictures that are not the best so far into what I want them to be. So this is the final results. I'm going to show you guys the before and after. This is what the picture looked like before. Very overly exposed, not enough shadows in my opinion, not enough highlight. And then this is the final results of the picture. I feel like I did a really good job with this. Again, if I do say so myself, I'm really happy with what the outcome turned out. And again, this is the before, and I'm going to show you guys the after. So yeah, that is actually it for today's video. I just wanted to do an in-depth tutorial on how I typically edit my photos for you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, as always, I will see you guys in my next video.